Hello, I am Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz, February 3, 2018 at 2:31 a.m. Birmingham. Guys, the last blog explains it. Look back and see at all the steps that they have taken to propagandize you and I, our children, mainly our grandchildren. Look, these guys no longer feel that their grandparents were wise. But the Bible is full of the people telling the young generation, look back upon the wise. That's where you gain. And that's where you build off of. That's where you trust, because they were wise and their fathers before them were wise. But yet today, they have been brainwashed through propaganda that's been going on over 70 years. And it's taken their lives away. People, listen to me. They think that by what they have done, well, let me put it this way. Why did they excuse and say, well, you know what, Hillary Clinton didn't break any laws, or whether we're going to go ahead and pardon her now, before we even read the transcripts, read the things that occurred? You know what that is? That's deep in their minds. And you think about this, and you know what, I'm telling you the truth. They're playing it safe because they believe in their hearts that she's going to be elected, and they're going to make sure that that is the case. Well, you know what? God turned that board red. The billions they spent, all that they did, God turned the boards red. You cannot defeat God, but yet they're trying to do it. They're trying to wrap this nation up in a neat package and hand it to the United Nations. They will slice and dice this then socialist nation, and we will be a third world country. Let me tell you something. My brother went to countries in Europe. I'll tell you the country. And he went in and they took a hotel that was started about 12 years earlier, but during the fighting over there and the scrimmages, they didn't finish it. Well, the building style was still back in the 50s. They hadn't progressed beyond that. So his company, and I'll call it B&K, went and bought this property, and they brought it up to the 20th century, 21st century, and built this large hotel. But while they were doing it, they were staying in other hotels with rooms that were roughly 10 by 12. They had hot water approximately 3 hours a day. They had frequent outages on power. We're talking about Belarus now. And they said, my God, this place they can't even get water. And the heat in the rooms, it all came from steam generators. There's no regulation for the heat. There's steam radiators there that happens to work between 3 and 4 hours a day, as well as other things. Running water, subject to come on and off. You know what? That is a socialist country. That's why it's like that. That's why all those countries are like that. There's a few cities in Ukraine, in Georgia, and these other countries that are coming up to snuff, but the building is still in the 50s unless they get someone out of Europe, someone out of Australia, someone out of the United States, or even China to go in and build modern cities. They don't know how. They're still living in the socialist time, the socialist era. Well, this is what these people in our country want us to do. Go back to socialism. Back us up. Back us up to the 50s. Back us up to the time when they started shooting propaganda. Guys, we have an opportunity here for all of us. A great opportunity. You are free. You can pray anywhere you want to, salute any flag you want to, recite the 10 Commandments whenever you want. You have a God. Well, you have a man that's placed in his office by God. People say, well, he can't do that. He's never even been a congressman or a senator. Well, you know what? Those guys never were congressmen or senators until they became one. They're not billionaires, and they'll never be until they become one. I like the man we have in office. I think this man is the greatest man we've had in my 68 years. And we need to absolutely grip and hold on to this ride because it may be a short one. Now, don't get me wrong. They're not going to take him out of office. He's protected by God. He has God protection, and come hell or high water, no man will remove him. No group of men will remove him. No party will remove him. God put him where he is, and he put him there for the sake of those who pray, those who stood up and prayed 5 years, 5 months. 2 Chronicles 7:14. So God, please don't be done with us yet. Let us come back and make a difference. And he did that. And we have the best man for the job. No man could do what Donald Trump has done. And you all have to admit that. If it has been, then you find it. And you'll see that it has not been. You have an opportunity now. You are free. But that day will come because the Antichrist and the Holy Spirit cannot inhabit the same area in power at the same time. So he is being prepared. He's alive and well. He's waiting for the UN to hand to him the rest of the world. And the only holdout on this planet is a place called the United States of America. We are the only burr under the saddle of this great world. We're the only ones that's keeping that from coming to pass. When we fall, and we won't fall until the church removes us, when God removes the church, rather, then this nation will fall. That's why God said, no country will stand with my people in that day. Today we will, but when the church is removed, then those left behind, the liberals, the left, those who have fed you propaganda for all these years, they will be left here. I don't believe we're serving the same God. You can't and do what you're doing. So I urge all of you, you have an opportunity to witness, you have an opportunity to pray about the future, because that moment, that day, that hour can occur in 5 minutes from now. 5 minutes from the time of whoever listens to this blog. It's going to come. And you better believe that we're closer now than we've ever been. And I believe that we're in a day and an hour and a period that we have very little time left. And then this country will fall. Then the liberals will have a neat package for the UN. And then they will be left behind. I pray that they won't. I pray that no one will. But it's going to happen. But it doesn't have to happen to you. You don't need to be left behind. Jody Wolf Expoz.